Do you recognise this place? The city of Dublin, that's what it is. I was born and bred in Dublin. Spent all my life here, in these very streets. This was me beat, though to tell you the truth, I wouldn't recognise much of it now. Of course, that was 60 years ago, and a lot can change in 60 years. 1925, and that's more than 60 years. I remember now, Mountjoy Square, Gardner Place, and on through Parnell Square into the little lane at the back of Dominic Street Church. Trinity Sunday, the 7th of June, 1925. I went out like a light, right on the side of the street. This is the spot where the cross is now.
Can you credit it? That's me, Matt Talbot. Born in Dublin, bred in Dublin, lived all my life in Dublin. Died in Dublin. And after me death was this gentleman. He wrote a book about me, Sir Joseph Glynn. The Life of Matt Talbot, he called it. Can you beat that? There wasn't much of a life.
To start at the beginning, first things first, as they say in Dublin.
Now that's St. Lawrence O'Toole's Christian Brothers School. St. Lawrence O'Toole is the patron saint of Dublin. I attended there for a year, until I was 8. And I had to stay at home and look after the brothers and sisters.
When I was 11, my mother sent me here to O'Connell School's Christian Brothers, best school in Dublin. Stool, boys, stool and be contented. Cheer up the inspectors at the door. If you don't let me in, I will break the door in, and you'll never see your mammy anymore. Of course, the buildings is all new now. I was out again when I was 12, barely able to read and write. I was a mitcher. Me and the brother would give Ma the slip and go off down the canal for the day. Oh, we were the smart boyos we were. At least we thought we were. I ended up a messenger boy, all I was fit for.
Messrs. E. and J. Burke, wine merchants and butlers to the trade.
Most of the time I was either bottling Guinness or delivering it round the pubs. In between times, I was drinking it. Did you ever try Guinness? Great stuff. Oh, great stuff. By the time I was 14, I was a drunkard. For the next 14 years, I stayed a drunkard. Have you any idea what it's like to be a drunkard?
Right.
They call them alcoholics now, but we call them drunkards. And that's what I was, a drunkard. I didn't just get drunk every now and then. I got drunk all the time. Every day after work, I made a beeline for the pub. I stayed there till closing time.
I had to throw me out, or I'd never gone home.
At least I never married. I'd only have made some poor woman's life a misery. Not that I had any time for the ladies, or cards, or swimming, or anything else that the lads were doing. Only the jar. I used to hand up my wages to the publicans when I got them on a Saturday. I'd have drunk them the Tuesday. Then I'd have to pawn my coat or even my boots to keep me going for the rest of the week. When I'd nothing left to pawn, I'd steal. I'd steal anything from anybody. There was a beggarman played a fiddle outside one of the pubs to make a few bob. One day I stole the fiddle. I pawned it for the drink. It was his only living. I think that was the worst thing I ever did in my life. But the craving for the drink, the craving was so strong. I'd have robbed my own mother, so help me. I'd be out of my mind with the craving, out of my mind. You've no idea what it's like. I don't know how many times I said I'd give up the drink. Hundreds, thousands of times. I never did. 14 years I was like that. 14 years wasted. I could have gone on like that forever. Only for a funny thing happened one day. It was a Saturday morning, and I'd no money. I was on a terrible battle the whole week. Never turned in for work at all. So when payday came around, there was no pay for Matt. I was skint. So I waited outside a pub where I'd meet my friends coming back from work with their wages. Friends, huh? Good day, says I to them. And they pass right by me. Not one of them asks if I have a mate, if I'd like a drink. Into the pub they go, leaving yours truly outside. And me with a thirst on me like the Sahara Desert. Well, good day, says I to them in my own mind. I know one thing is for certain. Yous are no friends of mine. You're home early, Matt, the ma says to me. I said nothing, only ate me dinner. I'm going to take the pledge. I remember she looked at me as if I was joking. Don't take it unless you mean to keep it, she said. I washed myself, put on my suit, and went out the door. God give you the strength to keep it, ma said.
And he did.
I went straight up to Father Keane at Clonliff Cottage. I told him my story, and he gave me the pledge right away. I took it for 3 months for a start to see how I'd get on. I went to confession as well. The next day, the Sunday, I went to Holy Communion. I hadn't been to the sacraments for years. Mind you, all those 14 years I hardly ever missed Sunday Mass. And I said a Hail Mary every night before I fell asleep. I think that's what saved me in the long run. The power of prayer. I'll never forget that first Sunday morning, coming out of Gardner Street Church.
I stood on the steps here. I saw the rest of the day stretching out in front of me, long and dry like Dollybound Strand. I'd never done anything of a Sunday-only drink. The only places I went to were the pubs. The only people I talked to were my boozing pals. How was I ever going to stick it? I went back into the church, and I stayed for the next Mass, and the next,
I stayed the whole morning till the last Mass was over. And then I went home for me dinner.